What's up, y'all? It's your boy Joe from CUontheFLIP. Another one. The other guys couldn't be here this week. We're busy living our lives. That's the beauty of this thing. Ideally, we just hop on whenever we can, just talk the way we normally talk. But I was going to let the week pass. I was going to let this episode pass, reaction video, but I don't know. I just was, I was sitting here stewing, thinking about that game, and just all the little things that I didn't feel as crazy as I did after the Stanford game, but it was close. I mean, I think I was more upset at the fact that we just keep shooting ourselves in the foot, and that shit is hard to watch, man. Like it's not. I mean, I don't know. We just keep shooting ourselves in the foot, and we can't seem to stop. We don't know how to stop. It's the weirdest thing, honestly. Like I don't know. I feel like we have so much talent potentially, like I feel like there's so much talent on the team. The defense today, my God, they played so well. It's part of my frustration. So I'm just gonna give you my list. I have takeaways, right? Like I like to build on things. The whole season, it's about, like, for me, it's about building. It's about building on, like, what I'm seeing, the expectations, how they're growing, how they're progressing every week, how they're progressing every game, how they're, adjusting to college football, honestly. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of these guys, they were playing high school last year. So I guess I just want to see the progression and I want to see the growth. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I feel like I've seen some growth. I feel like I've seen progression. I feel like the team has gotten better overall. But you just can't see it because the O-line play is so bad. And I know, once again, that's all everybody's going to talk about. But there's more to it than that. A few of my takeaways, for one, just we'll go the game first, and then we'll kind of go bigger picture. As far as the game goes, once again, offensive line terrible. And I don't know why, because I watch them and they can do the job, but they just don't. It's hard to explain, right? Like, I'm watching all kinds of football, college, pro, doesn't matter, and it's like, I see bad O-lines all the time, man. But like the bar for a bad O-line at this level is pretty high, right? So like I don't know. I don't even know how to talk about our O-line anymore, honestly. And not because of all the things that you think. Obviously, the O-line play was terrible again. Obviously, watching SHEDEUR fending for his life is cringeworthy, actually, at this point. I honestly, I said on the last one, like, it is extremely hard to watch, right? Him pick himself up off the turf every snap, or just be running for his life every snap. It's painful, man. I can feel it. I can feel the hits that he's taking, right? And I think anyone who played football out there will understand exactly what I'm saying. The kind of hits you take in football. There's force on force, right? Just right. And that kind of nullifies itself in some of these big collisions. As long as they're not like rattling somebody's head, two dudes pop up and everybody's like, how are they both standing right now? It's like, if you played football, if you hit each other just right, if everybody's going full speed, that's when everything is, is fine. Like those kind of hits actually kind of, I don't know, they kind of nullify, right? It's when you get force on weakness, or like force on or a quarterback, right? Standing still, running, going against it when you have another force coming at it full speed. Those are the worst hits in football, right? Like, because not only are you getting hit by the man, you're about to hit the ground hard too. And that's on every one of those, where you're not meeting the person who's hitting you with the same amount of force, or, countering with the right angles. If you play football, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. The hits that SHEDEUR takes are bad. Like, they are bad hits. No one out there, no one is being hit the way SHEDEUR is being hit. Not receivers, not running backs. Even running backs, when they're getting hit, they're bracing for it. They're running downhill. They're carrying the ball that way. They're built for it. Their shoulder pads are different. Like, everything is different. Their helmet is different. Their face mask is different. Like, they're generally built different, right? Like, no one out there is O lineman, D lineman. They're in the trenches battling, going crazy, right? Like these every snap battles, right? But it's force on force once again, right? So you just a whole game, you're just basically in a grudge match, right? The quarterback takes different kind of hits. They take the sitting duck type of hits. They take the gazelle being chased by a lion type of hits. You understand? So just all of that magnified by the way he takes hits, the hits that he takes, it is becoming hard to watch. It almost feels cruel at this point. I gotta admit, when he walked off the field, I want to say it was in the third quarter. And he seemed to be going off on his own power, but he did seem to like take just that. That was that one hit too many. A part of me was like, thank God he's on the sideline. I hope he doesn't play another snap in this game. And I hope and it looked like, okay, sure, he's really beat up today, but he's not broken today, right? He didn't, tear up a knee or something like that, or get a high, whatever it is bad enough that it hurts, but he got out of there standing. I said, you know what? I would rather not see him out there again. I'd rather not see him run around for his life anymore this game. Like, we should just put the backup in, because I don't know if at this point winning this game is as important as keeping SHEDEUR healthy for the rest of the season and to his future, right? Like, we got next year too, right? So, you don't want no catastrophic injury in a game that at times feels already too far gone, right? Obviously, it's SHEDEUR, right? In your face. By the way, he is the toughest quarterback in college football. I don't know what other dudes are doing, but I know other dudes ain't taking hits like him and getting up and getting out there again. So I can go on and on with that. I could do a whole hour on that, okay? So let's just pivot a little bit, because what I started to think about and what I started to really realize in this game were just a few things that I think we all been missing, okay? If we kind of connect the dots and work backwards. This thumbs up thing, I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know what that feature is. Anyway. Oh, okay. Anyway. Fuck out here. I think we've all been missing something. I think we've been missing the obvious. I think we've all been missing the fact that for, I don't know, 5 weeks now, basically every game except for the Oregon game, and even before the Oregon game, our defense has held its own. Our defense has played gutsy, opportunistic, ball hawking football. And then you got Shiloh back there. My God. Shout out headache, gang. My goodness. I'm a believer. I am a full Shiloh supporter, man. Like, this dude bangs, bro. He is banging. He is banging. He's banging. Even on plays when he doesn't actually even make the play, like, you see him just like fly by, and like he just had bad intentions, bro. He had bad intentions the whole time. He just didn't get to show it. But you see what's happening. This is 2 weeks in a row where he's caused a fumble, just sticking a dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's great. Like, that's what you want. Every coach in America wants a safety coming downhill hitting like that. I'm sorry. You want him coming down the way Shiloh comes down. And you know, for all y'all who are like, oh, Shiloh's playing because he's Deion's son. No. First of all, he proved that a long time ago. He proved that back at Jackson State. He proved that from day one in the spring in camp. Well, he wasn't in spring, I guess, but in fall camp, summer workouts, like, he came out like, I'm that guy, I'm the dog, like, you got to deal with me. Talking shit, like, I love it. Hey, Shiloh Sanders, hit me up, cuz. From one Sanders to another. But yeah, we was chatting about it with the game during the game. Jimmy and Pat and Taj and like, just like, big fans of Shiloh. Okay, big fans. But anyway, the defense has played some great ball. We are leaky as fuck with the run. We cleared that up a little bit last week. We probably played the run the best we ever have last week. This week, we had some holes right in the run, but it's still, we play good enough defense and we turn the ball over enough that we should be winning games. Like Stanford, all up, like, 4 turnovers, you're supposed to win that game 100% of the time. And this is every game. I mean, every game we've been turning the ball over. Like, we have been getting turnovers in every ball game we've played in. The last 2 weeks in particular, if we could have got anything going on offense, we win those games handily. And I think so. I'm just taking y'all down my rabbit hole here, my little thought process on this. And it got me to the ultimate conclusion, because I just kept building on that kind of story. Like, okay, the defense is balling, but they keep getting the ball back and giving the ball to the offense. Or, we got a lot of bend but don't break drives, right? Where it's like, it looks like we're leaky, and then we hold them, right? Now they're kicking field goals, right? Even Stanford, right? Like, today they made 2, but Stanford, they missed 1, right? Today they missed a 2-point conversion on some dumb shit. Oh, and shout out Kendrick Breedlove for that 2-point conversion. First of all, did you see the wheels? That boy was moving. And most importantly, why I want to shout him out is because he's from Nashville, Tennessee. Shout out Tennessee. Shout out Kendrick Breedlove. Great play today, man. We still got Sanders in Boulder, and we still got Tennessee in Boulder. So keep doing your thing. Keep representing, man. Yeah, I'm sure somebody was like, whoa. I'm sure somebody was paying attention when you were sprinting down the field. But huge play, man. Great job. I hope you get more playing time. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. It's the defense. And then so as I'm thinking about the defense, I'm thinking like, man, like, we're not bad. We keep getting the ball back. I mean, we have 4 turnovers. You're supposed to win the game. Like, so then, like, why aren't we? So fast forward, then we're right back to the O-line. Okay, so I touched on a little bit last week. Like, what do we look like if we just replaced our O-line with a whole different O-line, right? Like, are we all of a sudden amazing? I don't know. But then I really started thinking about the defense just playing out of their mind, right? 2 weeks in a row, getting crazy turnovers, right? Getting, like, big plays at key moments, handing the ball back to the offense, and we just can't do nothing with it. And it's okay. So, of course, we all saw that. Fast forward to the end of the game. Last 2 drives, when we got to have it, we tack on 2 touchdowns. And I just remember looking at those drives. I just remember watching those drives thinking, wow, this feels like TCU. This feels like second half Nebraska. Like this feels like SHEDEUR with any kind of time whatsoever, like an extra second on every play. Okay. What it looks like when he has that. He was just bing, bing, deep ball, shallow, boom, 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 like step into the throws, like, and then it just got me thinking further. And so I just went all the way back. Okay. We beat TCU, the team that was in the national championship the year before. No one thought we could win that game. If you listen to any of the other episodes we did, we've talked about that, right? Like how all the reasons why ability that we could win that game, right? Like, mind you, the odds, they couldn't watch film on us. We came out just snapping. Everybody was healthy. O-line had confidence. SHEDEUR was just, my God, 500 yards or whatever it was. So, boom, right out the gates, we beat a team that was in the national championship the year before. So now we got something to build on, right? Nebraska, we come out a little flat, play a really high caliber defense in the first half. We don't, going in halftime is pretty close. And then boom, we pull away on them in the second half, right? SHEDEUR looking like SHEDEUR once again. Through 2 games, through 3 games, through 4 games, number one passing quarterback in the country, right? And we ended up beating them handily, right? So they ended up scoring, I want to say, another touchdown, but that was like literally the last play of the game. Like they scored and the clock ran out. So that was even more of a lopsided win than it even looks on the box score. So that was kind of like the like we're not even there yet, and this is already happening, right? So then boom, CSU, rival to rival. By the way, for all y'all who don't understand, why this schedule was so difficult and why it is continuing to be so difficult. One, every team in the Pac-12 is ranked, and we can get into that. We're going to do a whole episode on that. Nebraska is a good team, right? Like, relatively speaking, right? They have a great defense. Offense is suspect as fuck. But their defense is good, and we played a good team. We slapped them. So I think the thing that people don't understand, and I just kind of want to tie this up, very quickly. The schedule that we have is not just difficult. It's difficult in a way we've never experienced. Okay. So the Pac-12, obviously, a bunch of great teams beating up on each other right now. We're the best conference in America, I think, as far as like what you want to watch, the competition, talent level, top to bottom on the roster, particularly that mixed with quarterback play, right? We definitely have the best quarterbacks in the country in our conference. And because of the transfer portal now, some every team is stacked. Okay. And then, quarterback played today, used to be at Auburn. Used to be at Clemson. Perfect example. So I say all that to say, going TCU in the national championship year 4, Nebraska rival, longtime rival, CSU in-state rival, right? For all you CU fans, you already know this, but we always play CSU the first or second week of the season, right? Boom, rival. But the thing about Nebraska rivalry is we always played Nebraska the last game of the season, either at Nebraska or at CU, okay, in Folsom. So it was not only a big rivalry, but there was always something on the line, right? Like we were always trying to ruin Nebraska's party, and they was always trying to ruin ours if we had a good season, right? Like trying to keep us out that bowl game, trying to keep us out the Big 12 championship, like, that kind of thing, right? So not only was there a rivalry, there was always something huge at stake because it was the last regular season game for both teams. So I think that having your school rival and then your in-state rival literally a season apart on bookending the season is like the way it was always done. It's probably the way to do it, right? But you go former national champ appearance team, our blood rival, our in-state rival, and then into conference play. Okay. Y'all, this schedule was, it's almost like it was designed to hurt. You feel me? Like this schedule was brutal. Like it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. Then you just get slapped by Oregon, and then USC, right? So, like I said, Oregon is the blip in there. Oregon has a really good team, but USC, we see what's happening with USC right now, right? Even Jimmy said it last week. I was, who they lose to, who the teams, and he's like everybody, and then boom, they lost again this week because they're losing to everybody. We almost beat USC. We only lost by, I don't remember the final score. I think it was only 3 points, 3 or 6 points. But basically, at that point, we had come all the way back, and it felt like if we get this ball last, we win in this game. Okay, so boom, there goes USC, and then like I said, Oregon, and then we go ASU. So boom, we're right there. ASU, we go down and win. It was sloppy, but we did what we needed to do. Right. Once again, SHEDEUR not protected, but still made something happen. And then we lost Travis during all that window, by the way. So we didn't have Travis during any of that. Then we come back for Stanford. Travis is back. He has an unbelievable game, 2 touchdowns, hits, but we also just give it up on defense, right? But why do we give it up on defense? We give it up on defense because SHEDEUR is getting his ass handed to him every snap, okay? And those guys play, I want to say Travis Hunter played, I don't know, I still haven't looked at it, but I heard somebody say 150 to 170 snaps. I'd love to someone check that, but regardless, it's ridiculous, in that game, and it went to double overtime. So like, crazy shit, right? That game should never been like that. We go into halftime 29-0, as you all know, right? And then UCLA was the first of the brutal, to the point of like I may have to turn my television off, like the way SHEDEUR was being hit. Okay, so now it's like last week I was saying we got all these pieces back, yada yada yada, but we still had that glaring weakness, right? The O-line. So once again, it's coming back to them. But like I said, we're gonna take it a little further. So then there's the first brutal game, and then today, so there's penalties and stuff, and that with Stanford, and it's like O-line in the next game, so it's like always something. This game today, I said to myself, we have been completely discounting our defense this whole season because they have been playing well enough to get us the ball. And then I said, we get the ball, can't do nothing with it, right? Over and over and over again. Okay. If we have even, a 5%, 10% better O-line, okay, that gives SHEDEUR just that much more time to get a pass off, to get any kind of reasonable pass off with his mechanics sound and his feet planted, which end of the game today, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. We remember what that looks like. Think about TCU, run it back, YouTube it, look at the highlights. That's what it looks like when SHEDEUR has protection. He is unstoppable. He will dissect every defense, and our speed and our skill guys will chop them up too, right? It all, obviously, yes, it all comes back to the O-line. But then, of course, I said, wait a minute. Aside from Oregon, I would argue that if we had a 10%, I'll go 10, like skill-wise offense, we could be 10% better in every category that we suck in, I guess. I think there's a chance that we only have one loss, and that's Oregon. We got popped at Oregon. We just got our ass handed to us. We lost the momentum train, and we could never get it back. But everybody else, USC, we come back, we almost win. 1 or 2 more drive, one drive goes different because we have a 10% better O-line, and now we're the ones that are up. And we're the ones talking about the Cinderella story of us winning that game at the end of the game, USC. ASU, that's more of a blowout. Stanford, we come out at halftime and then put another 29 on them and let them only score 3 more points. And maybe they'll score again, right? Who knows? If we're out there running full, if we're putting together full drives, where we're just taking it down the field and putting it in the end zone like we did in the first half, we duplicate that in the second half, they can't catch up, right? SHEDEUR was supposed to be in his sweatpants for the fourth quarter of that game. And then we lose it in double overtime while he's getting his ass handed to him. Okay. Like this stuff just keeps compounding, right? So boom, Stanford, take that loss back. Now we got that win. Once again, only Oregon. UCLA, if we could have taken 10% or whatever, anything better in that game, they were 10 off on SHEDEUR at UCLA. That was the beginning of the brutal pinata watching. I just can't even. It's gross. But we don't get our doors blown off in that game, right? We still, at points, we could have put it together if any one of those 4 turnovers, any one of those other big plays, we turn into actual drives down the field where we capitalize on the win. Get the fuck out of here, right? Like we beat UCLA in the Rose Bowl, no question. If the O-line play is just a little better, because now your defense isn't on the field the whole time. Now you're pressing on their defense. You're pressing the issue. You got the momentum. You got the offense moving. Now they can't sleep on anything or make any mistakes because they know if they get the ball back to SHEDEUR, he's finna just march it down the field on them, right? It might be methodical. It might be a big play, but we're going to score. We're going to get 3. We're going to get 7 on every time we touch this ball. If we just have 10% better line, 10% better, which, by the way, fuck is his name? Jordan Seaton. Jordan Seaton is the #1 offensive tackle in this 2024 class, 5-star offensive tackle who was at, I want to say, the USC game and was at the game today for his official visit. This man is a Buffalo, okay? Do yourself a favor when you're done with this. YouTube Jordan Seaton. He run. You'll see. When he pulls and when he's out in the open field, you know what I'm talking about. Like, dude has it, okay? That's, mind you, a rookie, right? But we're gonna get we're gonna get transfer portal people too, right? Like, we're gonna be more than 10% better on this offensive line next year, right? Like, we might be 100% better next year, honestly. And honestly, even if you own online and you watching this, bro, I'm sorry. Like, I don't like talking shit about my buffs, okay? But this O-line play is gross, okay? It's unacceptable, and it is a product I cannot watch because it's just bad already. But then the end result is SHEDEUR on his ass, picking himself off the court, off the field. Like, it's unacceptable. Okay. But for me, it was like, wow. As crazy as it sounds, we really could be 8-1 right now. 8-1. And who knows how the Oregon game plays out if we got just a little bit better O-line play. Maybe that game looks wildly different. And maybe they still beat us, but it's actually competitive. I mean, the weaknesses in our defense show up because they're on the field so much. They're on the field so long. And by the end of the game, they're just worn down. By the end of the game, they're worn down because what do we say every week? Man, defense had a great first half. Today they had a whole great game. They've had a couple games where they played pretty great the whole game, right? But usually when they look bad, it's because they're out there too long. They're out there way too much. Because the offense can't keep the ball, right? Time of possession, momentum. These things matter, man. These things matter in football. These things matter in chess, right? Like, this is not checkers anymore. Everybody wonders why Bill Belichick wins so many games in the NFL. It's because he's out thinking them coaches, right? He's doing the little just the littlest things that make the biggest difference, right? And he's doing all of them, and they all add up to wins, right? That's why Bill always has won games he had no business winning, right? Because he's just doing all the little things, right? He's thinking beyond the box, he's thinking bigger picture, and he's thinking, if we just do this one thing, right? Think about what that looks like for us, right? So obviously, I can't get all. The only thing I'm just mad about is SHEDEUR. SHEDEUR and the hits he has taken, right? That's the only thing I'm mad about. I'm not even mad at the O-line per se. I'm mad that SHEDEUR is taking this beating, right? But fuck, that boy is tough, man. And I'm sorry if any NFL scout watching SHEDEURSanders is not wildly impressed. Like, listen, if I'm a scout, if I'm a coach, I'm like, oh yeah, SHEDEUR can come play for me right now, right? I got some big beef motherfuckers. I paid that left tackle motherfucker, 200 million last year. Like, he's good to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, put him behind a good O-line. You know what I'm saying? And with some NFL caliber receivers, and knowing that he's in the NFL, he's going to take some lumps. He's going to take some hits. This boy has proven he can take some hits and still beat the man. Like, he's taken more hits than anybody, literally, statistically. Like, that's a fact. So you getting the most accurate guy, but he's also tough. Usually the most accurate guy is kind of a prima donna, right? Like, like all quarterbacks are tough because they got to take big hits, but like most quarterbacks ain't built like SHEDEUR. You know what I'm saying? Like, not literally built, but like also like built like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that boy gets up every time. And every time I'm just like, ugh. But he's tough as nails, bro. He's tough as nails, and he's a dog. And I'm sorry, but if I'm an NFL scout or coach, I'm salivating. Like, I'm doing whatever it takes to get SHEDEURSanders, right? Because I'm going to protect him. Not only, and if God forbid we let somebody go through and he actually gets hit on my watch with my very expensive O-line over here, I think he can take it, right? Like, he's proven he can take some hits, like, no doubt. But I think that was my main takeaway. I think as a game starts unfolding the way this one did, you start going in all different directions for your emotions and how you feeling. And then, like, afterwards, I just was like, I can't be mad. Like, my mom's in town. I'm having a good week. Like, I'm not just gonna let this thing ruin my whole week because I know where this is headed, right? Like, can't nothing get me down about all this. Coach Prime ain't going nowhere. Like, this hype ain't going nowhere. Like, we just gonna keep building. Like I said, 5-star. This guy, this Jordan Seaton. Like, I don't think we appreciate what this means. Like, this guy is Alabama, Georgia, maybe full stop, right? Like, a couple years ago, no question. That we don't even get. No one in our conference even gets a sniff at this dude. Not USC, not Oregon. This is number one and number two. Who's winning the national championship next year? That's where he's going, right? That's what would have happened 3 years ago, right? This man is probably coming to Colorado, like, almost certainly. All the tea leaves point to this. And he's bringing some of his homies and some of his teammates, which we'll get it. We'll do an episode on the recruits because the recruits are crazy right now. Please believe it's not a joke at all. But this is a journey. We're on a journey, right? This is the first foundational step of the journey. I just believe that this first step does not have to hurt this bad. It doesn't. With 5 to 10% better offensive line play, we might be beyond the story of the year, right? I argue, and you tell me, post in the chat, do whatever. I think better O-line play has a domino effect that has us in a scenario where we are 8-1. Just really think about it, okay? Put it down in the comments. Like actually think about it before you just go ham typing down there. 5 to 10% better offensive line play. We might only have one loss this year. Because the wins we have, We won them, so we'll just bank those. Okay. USC almost came back and won. Didn't lose by much. A little bit better offensive line play. Yeah. Stanford, we just double up what we did in the first half. Blowout. Running away. UCLA. UCLA wasn't that good. Their defensive ends were good. Their defensive line was good, and they were literally sitting on Shedeur's face the whole game. But aside from that, once again, if we just protect Shedeur, and Shedeur can pass the ball and chop up a team like any other team, like TCU, like Nebraska, like you name it, like every team we've played where he got protected, we win that game. Simple as that. And then tonight, Oregon State didn't impress me. Oregon State was, I get why they're good. They're a well-built team, but the way we were playing defense, it just felt like we have to be winning this game, right? Like, how are we not in the lead by now, right? We're turning the ball over, making big plays. They're not really scoring much, right? Like, we keep giving the ball to the offense, and it's like first down, sack. Second down, we try to run it, maybe lose some yards, a little fucking swing out, lose some yards, And I'm not even going to get on the play calling thing, whatever that is, where they I don't know. Like you say, when they say you got two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? When you got two offensive coordinators or play callers, we don't have an offensive coordinator play caller, right? Like, we got to lock this up. I don't know, whatever it is. They both have called plays very badly recently, so he did bad today, but we need one. I'd rather it be Sean Lewis, just because we don't need to be shaking things up that badly just yet, right? Like, if we're gonna fire him, we're gonna let him go, like, do it at the end of the year. I don't even think we should fire him, but whatever. It just made me sad, to think about, honestly. But then that sadness, turned into like real hope, like real tangible hope, because you say like 10% better and we're going to get 100% better. Okay. 10% better O-line. And every drive looks like the last two drives of this Oregon State game, where Shedeur is just zing, zing, bomb, bomb, bing, bing. And you look at the plays, you look at the pocket when he's throwing, he's still under duress a bit, but he's at least able, I'm talking 1 second longer, he's able to set his feet and throw and deliver the Shedeur. You feel me? So I don't know. I feel like, guys like Weave, you're gonna lose. By the way, Weave is like creeping early in the second round right now. Early second. Like, Weaver is going to kill it in the NFL. He is a perfect NFL receiver. Like, he can do a little bit of everything really well. And that's like, okay, he's going to do very well in the NFL. I'm telling you, they're licking their chops about Zay Weave. We're going to lose him next year because he's a senior to league. But we're bringing in, my God, your boy from Calabasas, your boy from the receiver list goes on and on top of transfer portal people we don't know about yet. So, like, we're going to get more explosive on the outside, and we're going to get 100% better on the offensive line, which, honestly, at this moment, we would still be the talk of the world right now, because we'd only taken 1 L to Oregon, and that loss is a little bit understandable. And like I said, even that game may have played out quite a bit differently if we could have protected Shedeur all through it, if we could have protected him. So that one's even an open book. So, like I said, it made me sad because it just made me realize how bad the offensive line has been. But it also gave me a lot of optimism. It also gave me a lot of optimism because it made me double back and think about the defense and just really actually kind of give them their flowers, because they really have been balling out. And in desperate situations, you know what I'm saying? Like, backs against the wall, I mean, they're playing their asses off, right? Like they're leaky in some spots, but as far as I'm concerned, they're pretty bend but don't break, and they're opportunists as fuck. Don't have no balls flying around out here unaccounted for. We picking that shit off. We making that shit fumble. You better hold that ball high and tight. You know what I mean? Because it's coming out. You know what I'm saying? Headache game is coming for you. But aside from that, like that's what made me just kind of that was my take. That was my take on the day. 10% better offensive line. We're talking about a whole different season here. And for any of you who hate football sayings like defense wins championships and every good team, it starts in the trenches, this is why. This is the case study of why a good team, if you're going to be a good team, it has to start in the trenches, right? Because it was something I said last week, and I would love for somebody to look it up. But I would find it hard to believe that this has ever happened before, where statistically the best, throwing a quarterback in the country also has statistically the worst offensive line. Some kind of different bad luck, okay? Like, put him behind anybody's line, like I said last week, behind anybody's, and just watch him bing, bing, zing, zing. So it's holding us back, and it's holding us back every week. And it's causing rifts that we don't even need, right? We up here changing offensive coordinators. What the fuck did you expect was going to happen? Something different because Pat Shermer's calling? Ain't nothing different going to happen because it's the same O-line. You see? Call all the plays you want, get as creative as you want. None of it's going to work when it's, red alert, full-on fire sale on every play. You know what I'm saying? And, so, Pat Shermer, it doesn't matter who it is, right? As long as we have the same offensive line, it doesn't matter what skill position players we have, doesn't matter what coaches are calling the plays. It's going to look like today, where you have a fantastic play called, like the best play. You've been saving this play. You've been just like, no, it's not right. It's not right. Okay, this is the time. We're going to run it. And then you run it on first down. Big turnover just happened, Always say, take a shot after a turnover, right? Big turnover happened. This is the time to run that play. This is the time to bring it out. Boom, man, through the line. Just leaky faucet. SHEDEUR, sack, 3 yards. First down, second down, and 13. All gone, right? Can't even get in that formation anymore. We shot it. We blew our load on that one. You know what I'm saying? We blew it on that one. Now it's done, right? Like, that's what's been happening. So, doesn't matter who the coordinator is, doesn't matter who the play caller is, doesn't matter who the players, doesn't matter who your quarterback is, doesn't matter if Jimmy Horn runs a 4-3. If SHEDEUR can't have a second longer to launch that bitch into the air to get it to him, none of it matters. So, biggest takeaway, we're not that far away. It doesn't even got to be the whole O-line, right? We're talking, 3 dogs change that whole O-line, and then 2 of the other guys that are left that are good, and the 3 dogs are going to elevate the play of the 2 and kind of hide the deficiencies of the 2 who aren't as well. Like, that's how every decent O-line in the world works, right? Like, the best O-linemen on that line make the other O-linemen look better because they're just doing so much, right? So replace the whole O-line, maybe, but you probably don't even need to, right? Replace 2 of them, replace 3 of them, right? With some real dogs, with a Jordan Seaton, right? Almost certainly you can just fast track him 3 years to, top 10 draft pick, right? He's different, okay? But what does that do, right? Like, what does that do for us? It changes everything. Now SHEDEUR is having more completions. More completions leads to more touchdowns. More completions lead to longer drives, and longer drives lead to us being able to have a chance to establish the run, as opposed to having 3 and out, or like struggle mightily to get a first down and then go another 3 and out. And then we're just right back on the sideline. Your defense, actually, who's who's playing great, like I said, actually has a chance to rest, actually has a chance to regroup, actually has a chance to do some scheming and some adjustments on the sideline. Bust out the chalkboards, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, and get some work in on the sideline, right? Make some in-game adjustments, right? They don't even got time to make in-game adjustments because they're only on the sideline for 3 plays. And half of them is on punt team. So they go out there on punt team, they back right on defense, right? That's what's happening right now. And then they get the ball back again. They're actually playing really well. Has a little bit more better O-line play. We're not having that conversation. Our O-line, our defense gets to like have that natural rhythm in the game, get back out there, re-energized and ready to attack this offense again, as opposed to like barely catching their breath from the last time they was just out there. So now we're talking about sustained drives. Now we're talking about the gas. We're talking about the gas down. You know what I'm saying? On these teams where the pressure's on. Now we're putting up big yards. Now we're putting up big points. Now they're starting to get a little hesitant. Now we always got the momentum. You remember how it was with TCU. Remember how it was with Nebraska, right? Once we got rolling, it almost felt like TCU knew that we couldn't get the ball last. Like, they knew they had a chance if they had the ball last, but if we got the ball last, we're winning that game. They knew that because at a certain point, it gets in the defense's head where they're like, we just can't stop this guy. And that's how every defense that we have played would be feeling if we had just a little bit better line play, 10% better. Take it a step further. Now we don't have coaches fighting on the sideline or getting upset with each other, or like literally Charles Kelly, somebody got to check his blood pressure, bro. That dude's about to blow one. When I see him walking off the field with his like, bro, listen, okay. Charles Kelly's blood pressure can go down, okay? If we have better O-line play. Our defensive coordinator's blood pressure could take a holiday. You feel me? If we had a little bit better O-line play, that's how bad it is, man. It's affecting everything. We got less media coverage now. We're losing games now. Losing games we're supposed to win. Not only the ones we just get slapped on. Now there's this inner controversy, right? Now there's all this, and it all comes down to the O-line play. So the domino effect of this season, at this current moment, I am hanging on one position group. And that might sound harsh, but when you really play it out, that's all it is. So until further notice, I think we're going to be all right once we get a better O-line. And this season would have looked a whole lot different. So buckle up. Everybody pray for SHEDEUR for these last 3. I pray to God they can figure out a way to protect him. But yeah, I just had to get all this off my chest. So yeah, but that's all I got. I mean, but think about it, you know? Really think about what I just said. Play it out. It's not as bad as we think. I mean, it ain't never bad as we think. We got Coach Prime. But I'm talking about this team this season. I think, you know, these are real shoulda, woulda, couldas, you know? That like this actually would have went different, I believe. But we have what we have. We are what we are. We are what our record is currently, which is not good. And that's okay. We just got to get better, which we are doing as well. That's all I got. I just had to get that off my chest. The boys will be back next week. I got 2 special guests I'm trying to line up that you guys are really going to appreciate. That is going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you have a great week. I hope y'all are enjoying this. Hopefully by the time y'all seeing this, some Sunday football. Oh yeah. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, help us grow. This is just the beginning. Like I said, first season, we figuring out what the hell we doing. But we in it for the long haul. We're going to keep bringing y'all content. We love talking football. We do it anyway. But yeah, do all those things. You know, the 1, 2, 3, the like, share, subscribe, put your notifications on, do all that. Tell somebody, tell a buff, right? Like tell them chime in. Start commenting below so we can like answer questions and shit, like and like respond to comments and all that. But yeah, hopefully next week is more exciting.